What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the importance of switching gears while you are doing your analysis, because today started with an uptrend and a nice fitting one. Once again, I draw the shorter term trend lines. It fits prices nicely. We have a break, 2 legs to a new high. Perfect price action rules. After a break of a trend line, there's most likely going to be a new high. So price action is playing out so far early morning nicely. I used the yesterday's session just a little bit because it fits prices so nicely and the trend is much more visible. So that's why I used the previous day price action a little bit, and you can see it is valid. And then once we made a new high, we pushed through the EMA, we continued working lower, and I was treating this as a downtrend at the time. And this is still very early to take any trade, but nevertheless, we have a break. We have a 1 leg to a new low. We are working sideways a little bit, and we have a 2nd leg to a new low. And at this point on, as a price action trader, I am trying to identify the current market structure, and I'm looking for key levels. And right now, the market structure is looking like we have a break and a 2 legs to a new low. And look how the support is forming here nicely. You can see multiple touches right here, multiple bounces. So this is where I entered, and I was looking at this as a fell break lower a little bit, but my major indication was that the support is holding prices nicely so far. And I barely got out, and I only got out because I took a limit order here. If I went long on the buy stop, I probably would have gotten stopped out of this one. So I had a little bit, I had big luck today, much more luck than the reason. But nevertheless, take a look, guys, how I think my analysis was pretty good at the time. And you can see the support is holding prices nicely, and the downtrend at the time looked like it played off. So I was looking to go long here, and this is how it shows that nothing is 100% in price action, and just barely got out. We have a 2nd entry short, and a lot of sellers jump on the board. And at this time, once I was wrong here, because we should have railed up higher big time if I was correct. And there was a clear sign that bulls are not going to be holding the line here. So after this point on, once we made this 1 leg lower, this is where I started to look at this as a spike and a channel. This is the spike and a channel pattern, and you can see the first 2 swings, even the 3 swings, if we count this as a pivot, is holding prices nicely. And so this is why you have to switch the gears, and you cannot be afraid to admit you're wrong, because you don't want to keep buying it. Yeah, it worked here, but you never know what's going to happen next. Nevertheless, we ended up with a spike and a channel pattern, and we have a little bit of overshoot right here. And you can see we overshot almost the exact amount, something like this. Yeah, you can see it is very similar. It is being measured. We have a new low right here, pullback, first entry short, but this is far away from EMA. This is not according to our rules, not at the key entry point. So you have to let the prices do their thing. You have to let them correct, and the prices are working up higher. And we have a 2nd entry short right here. This is a 2-legged move, 2nd entry short according to our rules, and it broke the trend line. So I think this is a good trade to take. And look how far away you're from EMA. The EMA acts like a magnet. It's constantly pulling prices together, and this is why this trade is even better. Regardless, it is a 2nd entry short. The way how far away you're from EMA, this is giving a little bit more credence to the trade as well. So we have a tiny little break, and you're working up lower, but I really wasn't sure that the downtrend was over at this point on. And I like taking this trade because it is, once again, 2nd entry short. Take a look at the new low right here, 1st entry short, pullback. It is at the key entry point, yes, but it is just the 1st entry, and I'm looking for highest probability setups as possible, and those are 2nd entries at key entry points. 1st entry short, pullback, 2nd entry short. Nice bullish reversal bar, nice bearish reversal bar, good body, beautiful looking bar, and it worked easily, good for scalp. This is why I like scalping. And there was a major indication that we're not gonna go lower, and this is why I also didn't like taking this trade, and I'm gonna explain to you guys why right now. Because the fact that we didn't go lower right here, that's not that uncommon. That could happen, and the 2nd leg could have been much stronger, but most of the time you get 2 legs to a new low, and I was expecting a 2nd leg to make a new low. But since we didn't make it, and you can see we're kind of making higher lows each time we're making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So there's clear sign that the bears are just not willing to short this market at this particular time. So this is why you have to let the market do its thing, and you have to sit on your hands, because once you take the second entry short and it's not doing what you are expecting, and you can see it's almost like a stairs. You're constantly working up higher and higher. You're making higher highs each time. So this is where I don't like taking this trade. And even though it would have worked, this is the lower high. This is the lower high, and we definitely have a break now. It was very tempting to still look for a new low, but since we are making still higher lows here, and you can see the bottom is starting to form some sort of a little bit the trend line, you have to wait here and you have to sit on your hands, and you just push the trend line up higher and you make a double top right here. But it is still too early to go short and it's too late to go long, so you just have to sit this one out, because it still feels kind of downtrendish. But at the same time, as you are making these higher lows, there is still some bullish bias into it. Nevertheless, they're still not set up according to our rules either way. And then you get a clear sign what the market is going to do. And this is why it's important to wait. And don't be scared to wait. It's like, you know, not trading is good. Not trading is like putting money in the bank. You're saving money. So once you see the prices pushing through the EMA and making these moves down, this is a good sign that the downtrend is continuing. And this is actually a good sign that we are about to make the massive new low of this spike and channel, because we didn't make a new low right here. We just broke here and we kind of continue working up higher, and the move was just delayed. We need to trap a few more bulls who are going long way too early. But this right now, the trend line is fitting nicely. Once again, draw these trend lines. They will keep you on the right side of the market. You can see EMA is pulling it down lower. We have a first entry short right here off the trend line and off the key entry point. But once again, it's just a first entry, and we want to wait for highest probability setups as possible. Even though we have a 2 key entry points right here, you still have to wait. Once again, working lower, first entry far away from key entry points. Once again, first entry, not a good signal bar. It is at the key entry point. Once again, only first entry. Just wait, and then you get a textbook setup. You have a correction working higher, break, new high, second entry short, two-legged pullback to the key entry point, to the EMA. It is a first break of this downtrend, so you know what's gonna happen. We're probably gonna make a new low. Very beginner friendly setup. If you didn't do anything throughout this day and you waited for this perfect textbook setup, you can have your easy scalp. And for some traders, that's their goal, making one trade and making $50 a day just as a little bit side income, as a side hustle. Nevertheless, so we have a break and a new low. So this correction is over, and this downtrend is over, and we have the new low of this spike and a channel. You can see this spike and a channel. We have a break and a new low. So this bearish correction, this bearish downtrend, I don't know why I keep naming these corrections. This is a big downtrend. Should be over, but still don't be going long just right off the bat. And there may be some bigger pattern in play, so you don't really know. Even though it's looking like a trading range now, you can see it's starting to look like a trading range. Nevertheless, we make a new low right here. We push through the EMA big time. This is the first sign of a reversal pattern. And unfortunately, this is just a first entry off the top. This is just a first entry because we didn't trigger higher here. So I don't think it's too early to go long yet. Even though we have the new lows of this downtrend, it's too early to go long here. And then you went into this congestion. You can see how we're working up sideways. Once again, here just a first entry long, and the second entry long happens right here. But at this time, look how many bars sideways there is. You know, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. This is a 13 bars that are going sideways. And if you net the movement of all these bars, you know, it's almost zero, like nothing happened here. This would be one big doji bar on a slightly higher time frame. On a, let's say, 10-minute time frame, this would be a one doji bar. So avoid this. You can see, and you can see clearly this is a smaller training range, small consolidation, because the lows are very clear to identify, the highs are very clear to identify, and we cannot break either way. So how you trade congestions, how you trade the breakouts, just like I keep telling you, most breakouts fail, and you have a failed break low right here. You pull back into this, and you have a nice, I wouldn't like going long above this bar. It's more of a doji bar, but either way it didn't matter because we ticked above this bar. But this is nice bullish reversal bar, very good setup, and it's a failed break lower. And you even get, I forgot to mark this, you even get, because you know most people will not add on. I don't recommend adding on because you can have a double loser. But you have a higher low right here, and you definitely confirm that the EMA is holding prices nicely. So, and you're waiting for a new high of this uptrend working up higher. And you have a new high right here. But we make this correction, we don't have a break and a new low, and it's just a first entry, so we cannot take this long even though it's off the EMA. And you wouldn't have this trend line at the time. You wouldn't have this bigger trend line at the time yet, unless you're really good. Because I was looking at this as a break and a new high, so I was expecting a little bit of a more of a correction, and there is no setup here, just the first entry. And as we're making up, going up higher and higher, and right here you can see how EMA is pointing up high, it's pointing up. You can see that there may be some bigger pattern working here, and this is where actually you can use this swing to kind of set the trend line up. And you can see it's fitting off the highs here a little bit too, and you can see you can start to eyeball it. There may be potential trend line, and then you are working lower this correction. First entry long, pull back, second entry long, you have a break and a new low. This is the first break. It's very close. It is the first break of this uptrend. So you're working out, so you're expecting prices to go higher. But once again, we just keep going up higher and higher. You can see the swings constantly happening and happening, higher highs, higher lows. There is no sign of bearish activity whatsoever. And definitely you don't want to be counter trend trading this, because the gears have switched. This downtrend is over now, and we are officially in this uptrend. So you take advantage of these uptrends. Don't try to pick for tops. It's looking very tempting to go short because it looks like it's gonna reverse every single time. Like I keep telling you, the deepest pullbacks are the most successful one, because this is the most counterintuitive. The deeper you buy, the better, because most beginner traders, they want to see market proven. And once the market is making big of a correction and it goes deep, they think the market is going to reverse, and they get trapped. You know, a lot of people, they went actually short directly into the trend line. This is why it's so powerful to buy this pullback. But how do you know this is a safe entry? You have a break and a new low, so this is good. This price action rules played out, and you have a first entry long right here. Once again, the first entry triggered right here because these are matching highs, and we didn't trigger one tick above neither of those highs. So first entry long happened right here, it failed, and a second entry long. So two-legged pullback, once again, very reliable setup in price action trading. Two-legged pullback at the key entry point. Once again, you keep pushing up higher. You have a double top right here. First entry long, second entry long. It may look like we are a little bit of overdone, so you can make a case for skipping this trade. But this is second entry long at the EMA, at the trend line, and such a nice signal bar. You're literally hugging the EMA and the trend line. This is perfect. And it's a small signal bar, so I think it's very worth the risk. Even though we are kind of wavering, we're not getting to the higher side of this trend channel. You know, it's such a small signal bar, and it is at the two key entry points, and we are touching the key entry points big time. You can see this is second entry long with the break and a new low. Once again, high probability setup. But you could make a case for skipping this because we are starting to waver. We didn't make it to the higher side of this channel right here, and definitely we didn't make it right here. So you can see the bullish momentum is a little bit wavering. At this time, they trapped them, but next time it may not happen. So the good thing was this was the second entry long, and this was the bigger picture for today. And once again, I was quite caught off guard here, especially since this bullish uptrend, I used the previous day's price action. If you use only today's price action, we started right here. So this was really looking like a trading range, like a beginning of a trading range, and support was holding strong. So if you were looking to go long, don't get upset. And maybe you even, one of you could have outsmarted me. You actually went shorted the second entry short. So but I wouldn't probably go short into this support at that time. I think it's much better to wait for safer entries. Nevertheless, just remember, switching gears is gonna happen. Sometimes you're gonna think you're analyzing it good and you're actually gonna be way off. And just stay calm. It was easy for me to say today to stay calm because I managed to get out here and not have a loser, because I just used limit order, and I think I got out exactly with one tick through my limit order right here. So I got very lucky here. I literally had much more luck than reason at this time. So it's not always gonna happen. Sometimes I have a loser, and when we exactly touch my limit order and we turn back in the other direction. And once more time, just to recap this, second entry longs, two-legged pullback at the key entry points are such a powerful setup that, and even fail break lower right here, you really have to be patient. You really have to work on your patience. Don't get tricked and don't jump the gun into these bad trades, because I know your mind is playing the tricks with you. This is gonna happen. It's happening to me. Sometimes I take a trade that I know I should not be taking. I even know, I'm looking at the trade and I know that I shouldn't take this setup, and for some reason I take this setup and it's a loser. For some reason the trading works like this, and our minds just, they get trapped into wrong trades very easily. I don't know why that happens, but it happens for everybody. But if you're patient and you wait for those second entries at the key entry points, such a powerful strategy that you really cannot go wrong. So hopefully you guys like the video. I'm gonna post a live video soon, and see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.